Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cardboard Cave. We're down here with you today to do something big, but I vow to you to try to keep it as short as possible while still covering the main things. There's just so much here that I think it would be doing a disservice to go into all the details. So I'm going to try to hit on what you might want to think about to help you decide if this is something for you. Because there's only two reasons you would have clicked on this video. A, you're just like, what is that? Or B, you're seriously interested in this thing. Because this is the, to my knowledge, I don't think there's even a close second, the biggest and the most expensive Playmobil set. And I don't think most people would look at this as it is right now and even think Playmobil. But the biggest Playmobil toy there's ever been, as far as I'm aware. And this thing's been out. This is, of course, the Star Trek original series Enterprise. The USS Enterprise. It is from Playmobil, so it is technically a play set. It's technically a toy, but probably way more interesting to Star Trek fans, especially fans of this original Enterprise. And as you can see here, it is doing a pretty good job of filling up a lot of my board gaming table here in the Cardboard Cave. And it's a 3-foot by 5-foot table. This thing is almost 40 inches long, 39.4 I believe it is. It's over 18 inches wide. I currently have it on its display stand. It is also capable of being hung from the ceiling because, frankly, I have it here for now because I just finished putting it together yesterday. But there's no way it could stay here. This is my game table, you know. So I've actually got a spot I'm going to hang it from the ceiling. I've not weighed it without the base. It's not incredibly heavy, but, you know, you're still going to need something that's sturdy enough to hold, 15 pounds or something. I think it probably weighs maybe 10 pounds or so, but I wouldn't push it, But yeah, it comes with a hanger to hang it from the ceiling. It comes with this base. It comes with a lot inside of the bridge. And before I show you a close-up of everything, again, I'm going to try to hit the high spots. So, straight up, this set, when it originally came out, I thought it was a joke. I don't think it was April 1st. Excuse me, by the way. I've had this cough for going on 4 weeks now. That's why you've not seen many videos from me. It's just been, I'm fine. It's just a lingering cough, but it's made it hard to do a video. But when this originally came out, and Playmobil said it was $499.99, $500, a lot of people thought it was a joke. But they soon realized it wasn't, and that it is, in fact, the biggest Star Trek Enterprise toy there has ever been. And as a Star Trek piece of memorabilia or a model, it's worth taking seriously. And because, frankly, $500 is a little wild, you can regularly get it now. I hate to promote Amazon all the time, but that's the one place you can regularly get it for a good chunk less than that. We'll just put it that way. 30% off seems to be the norm. So saving $150 over the retail feels a little better. I personally got it when it was, $150 off the retail. Plus I had some Amazon points saved up. And then I just sold a whole lot of Lego on eBay. And I'm going over that to say why, I'll just go straight up, before I even built it, just why I decided, and this, you can decide if this is you or not, or if this doesn't sound like you. The reason I decided to go for this before it's out of print, before you can't get it, because you got to be careful with that. I mean, you can miss out on something and be totally fine. So I just had to ask myself, would I be mad at myself if I skipped on this? Even at $350, which is basically what it costs now. Would I be mad at myself if I skipped on this? And I ultimately decided, yeah, I think I would be a little disappointed if if I totally missed this. Because A, I love the Star Trek original series. I love the characters, I love the show, but I also love the ship. And my wife said something while we were watching Strange New Worlds. The second season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds is awesome. We finished it, and she said, you know, the Enterprise is just the coolest ship in sci-fi, period. And like, you know, I totally agree. So, not only is the original Star Trek one of my favorite shows, but this ship is my favorite ship in all of pop culture, and all of sci-fi, and all of TV, movies, period. There's a lot of others I love, from Star Wars and Guardians of the Galaxy and lots of different ones. The Firefly, the Serenity from Firefly. But this is my favorite. And this is the original series version. Of course, like your Next Generation Enterprise would look a little different, but it's still recognizable. If you love the Enterprise, this is recognizable. Although this is the original from the original series. And so I decided I love the ship, I love the show, and there has never been, according to other people who know a lot more about Star Trek toys than I do, there has never been a Star Trek Enterprise at this toy, at this scale, that's actually big enough to have a detailed bridge, and I'll show you the detailed bridge, to have a real interior. Like there's been Star Trek toys, but they're like Hot Wheels, they're like die-cast models, or occasionally there would be a big plastic toy, but it would just be like just the bridge, and that's the whole toy. It was never like a detailed bridge, a part of the whole ship. So as far as what I've heard, this is the first time. And the original series, Star Trek, has been around for roughly 55 years, give or take a year. 55 years, and this is the first time. So I started thinking, this might also be the last time for another 55 years that we get an Enterprise of this scale. Because it's taken this long for somebody to do something this bodacious, you know. And hey, it was Playmobil. So, yes, the price is wild. 30% discount makes it less wild. I think as far as, is it something you could even display? You do have to take into account that you've got the stand, which is super nice, but it also does come with a method. And it looks like a mess right now, but basically there's 3 of these plastic wires. And, oops. These plastic wires basically go in here. You got to feed this through. There's a couple holes in the Enterprise. There's one here, here, and over there. It just holds the bridge section. And then you do have to provide your own wire to go here and hang it from wherever you want to hang it. Just make sure it's secure. And so it'll hang, you know, with the 3 wires. Let's see here. Give you an idea. To be honest, I am very much planning to hang mine. I've already cleared off a spot on the ceiling. These are so twisted up, but once the weight of the Enterprise is on there, they straighten up. But basically, you'll have this, and you'll have 3 wires, one going to each side. It looks pretty good hanging. I've seen pictures of it hanging. And you do still get the insignia, at least. Although I do hate to give up this nice base. So yeah, I'm not going to show you the box because I've already put it away. It's huge. The box is a huge, well, a prism. It's not quite a square. A huge rectangular prism. It's massive. But there's a lot of assembly. Like the box isn't this long because there's assembly here. And of course, if you just want to see the thing and you don't want to hear my talking, go ahead and skip ahead, because I'm actually doing, I think what I'm actually doing here is I'm just going to go and do the full thoughts, the positives, the negatives, my opinion, if you should get it or not. I'm going to go and do that here, and then I'm going to show you everything to reinforce what I've said. So, assembly. This is not a Lego set. I was a little surprised how long it took me. I don't think it was supposed to take that long. I've heard people say it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours. It took me several hours, but there were several things that got a little frustrating to me that I was probably a little too finicky about. Nothing terrible. But let me get over the negatives of the building. There's really only one two. There's really only two things. First of all, because I knew I was going to hang it, straight up, I did go ahead and feed these through here. And it works really well. There's like a plug. It goes in there. You don't see anything except for, you know, just that part hanging right there. You see that. But it was a little frustrating. I believe it's, oh, I told you wrong. It's actually the back. You put a wire here, a wire here. The other one will actually come out the back, and it's well hidden. But this is the one that's really frustrating to get to. So this is the nitty-gritty kind of detail I'm going to try to avoid in this video, but I think this is worth saying. What you need to do, you will fuss and fight trying to feed this through here. And if you buy it, you'll know what I mean. It's the one in the back. What you need to do is take this loop and tape it. Just get some clear tape and tape it up tight. Then you can feed it through easily, and then you can remove the tape. That's the best way I found to do it. I tried everything else. That was a little frustrating, but to be fair, that's something you're probably only going to do once, unless you're a dummy like me. What I did is I put all these wires through, and then I decided I'm going to put it on the base for a while and not hang it up just yet. So I had to take them all out. For most people, this is a one-time thing. You feed the wires through, and it is not that bad. These two are a piece of cake. It's just this one in the back. Tape up the loop and slide it through, and you're good to go. But that was more frustrating than I thought from a Playmobil product. But again, they don't expect kids to do that part. I'm sure they don't. I don't know if they really expect kids to play with this, but it is Playmobil, so they should be able to without destroying it. That is something I like about it. But the other frustrating thing, and this one is legit, inside here, there's two screws. There's only two screws you have to put in the whole thing. And you probably don't even need those two screws unless you are going to hang it. But I would definitely put them in if you're going to hang it. There are two screws. I'll try to explain it. So you need to get a screwdriver in, two Phillips screws, no big deal, two little screws. But it's like this. There's plastic here you cannot move, and so you got to get the screwdriver in like this at an angle. And it's almost impossible to get the screws in a way you feel really good about. I finally did it. The trick was to get a small enough Phillips head screwdriver that still had a good long handle so I could get some grip. Because I used a little tiny screwdriver that fit the screw, but I just couldn't get it in. I finally found a small head Phillips screwdriver that still had a good handle so I could get good grip, and I feel good about it now. But that's really it as far as true negatives with the building. The other thing is there are a bucket load, a dump truck bucket load of stickers. But amazingly, having built hundreds of Lego sets myself, none of them were super frustrating in the way that even some Lego set stickers are. Because, and you probably can't see it, but for example, thank goodness, things like this are printed on. This is a print. This is not a sticker. But these little white windows, I guess lights is what they're supposed to represent. These are stickers, but there's indentions in the plastic. The plastic actually has dipped in areas. So most of the time, that acted as a pretty good guide for putting the stickers on. Anything huge you see is generally going to be a print. The stickers are smaller details. And honestly, the vast majority of the stickers are inside in the bridge, and I'll show you what I mean. But again, I would have thought that these massive sticker sheets would have been a huge negative for me. And yeah, I would have preferred high quality prints. But the truth is, there's so many prints inside, I feel like they probably could have printed everything on the outside. But again, the big details are printed. The stickers, like those are probably the biggest stickers on the outside right back here. But they're pretty easy to put on if you just pay attention to what you're doing. On the inside, there's a lot more stickers, and honestly, if they had done all that as print, it probably would not have been as bright and bold and colorful because it's a ton of print. But anyways, just know that. A lot of stickers, two very annoying screws. You just got to find the right small yet sturdy screwdriver. And if you decide to hang it, there's one wire that's frustrating to put in, but otherwise not a bad thing. There's electronics in this thing, which I will show you. It's like phone wire. It's like phone cable. Like, you know, the click in, like if you're plugging in a modem, the little click in phone line, which I've not seen that used in a toy maybe ever. Certainly not in years and years. But it feels very sturdy. It feels like it's going to last. So I'm actually okay with it. And it's actually very simple. The instructions are very simple. You do not need to be an electrician or tech savvy to get this thing ready to go. There's a total of 3 wires, and 2 of them actually fed through here into the nacelles to make these work. And the other one goes straight from the main part of the ship where the engineering bay is. It goes from engineering bay to the bridge. And it's not bad. That part is not. Honestly, getting this one little plastic hanger wire, if you decide to hang it, getting that through here was way worse than the actual wiring of the phone cords. It works well. It might seem ancient to be using phone cords, but it works super well. So as far as true negatives, the price, how do you price something like this? There's never been an Enterprise toy this large, and we live in 2023. My gut says that $500 is just still a little crazy. But $350, when I look at what some Lego sets cost, now Lego's different. You know, there's a lot of plastic that goes into a huge Lego set with all those individual bricks. Like a Lego set this big would be way heavier. Let me put it that way. It would weigh more. It would just be more plastic. But would it look better? That's a matter of opinion. I mean, as I'll get into, this to me looks like it probably could have been the model used almost. Almost could have been the model used for the Enterprise in the original 1960s show. So, I think if you want an Enterprise toy that's as realistic as possible, this is probably better than you could get from Lego. And Lego doesn't do Star Trek anyways, unfortunately. I sure wish they did. But this weighs less, I'm saying. To be almost 40 inches long, it weighs less than, say, the Millennium Falcon, which is like $800 or $900 from Lego, would weigh many times as much as this does. But still, there's a lot of detail on the outside and the inside. So for $350, if you're a huge Star Trek fan, if you just love the Enterprise, if you got somewhere to display it or somewhere good to hang it, I think it's very much worth considering. Yeah, I'm giving you my full thoughts now. Then I'm just going to show you some details. I think, as I'll show you when I show off the details, this thing's beautiful. Sorry, I was trying to give you the negatives first, though. Those 2 screws, that's just a bad design. And I'll show you when I open the bridge, but you just can't get into it. That was a bad design, but I got it done. I think it'll hold just fine now. If you're not planning to hang the thing from the ceiling, the screws aren't even necessary. Because when you're building the thing, there's these little plastic tabs that you put in, and then you click the things together. Like this whole bridge section is connected onto the main body here with these little clips. And it's sturdy. It's fine. But if you're going to hang it, the instructions, there's an exclamation point. They very much recommend, if you're going to hang it, you've got to put in those 2 screws. Honestly, it may hold without those, but I wouldn't want to test it. So if you're not going to hang it, honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. But those 2 screws, just the amount of stickers, I would say is still a low point. This plaque, I don't even care that much. This really should have been a print. This should not have been a sticker on something this expensive. And I didn't even get it perfect, so it looks kind of rough if you look up close. I don't really care about the plaque, but like that kind of thing should have been a print. And then just the price itself, at least the retail price. I think that's pretty much it for the negatives, honestly. Oh, one more. I ended up ordering 2 of these. Thank goodness for Amazon's amazing return policy. I I blamed Amazon for just terrible packaging, which they sometimes do. My first set was jostled around in the box. Like, the main body had come loose. The only real things that were damaged, the instruction book was literally ripped in half. I still don't know how this happened, but somehow the instruction book got wedged a certain way and it ripped it in half. Like, it ripped the front cover and back cover off from the rest of it. And then the display stands that are this clear, translucent plastic, they were a little scuffed up. I blamed Amazon's packaging. The thing is, I ordered a second one. And I don't want to sound ridiculous, but I had a hard time. Do I just keep it? Do I just live with it? You know, there were a couple smudges on a couple different plastic pieces because they just rubbed up against each other because they just jostled loose in the packaging. The manual was destroyed. The display stand was the main thing. Like, it was obviously scuffed up. And I finally decided, you know what? I paid good money for this. This is a collector's item. I'm not planning to resell it, but I am planning to display it. I want it to look new. I bought it new. And Amazon's return policy is amazing, so I decided to do it. I felt a little guilty because the second one arrived much the same way, and I realized, you know, granted, Amazon still didn't have any packaging material in the box, but I think Playmobil's packaging maybe could just be better. It's fine. Like, if you came over and looked at this thing, you would not see anything wrong with it, honestly. There's some very small things I notice, because again, some of the pieces were just loose in the packaging. Playmobil should have done a better job with the packaging, but because it is Playmobil, it's Playmobil plastic, nothing's broken. Nothing's even remotely broken. It's just disappointing to buy a premium product and there's just loose pieces flying around in the box. But my second one was much better. The booklet was fine. The display stand is better. That clear translucent plastic still gets scuffed up sometimes, so still not perfect. But to be honest, Lego has the same problem. When it comes to clear plastic, it's just not always perfect. Okay, sorry, I'm getting in the weeds because I wanted to give you all the negatives, and that's it. Literally none of them are a big deal. The biggest deal in the whole thing is those two screws, and that's just a matter of finding the right screwdriver and being patient and making sure you get them in there. That's it. Everything else is positive. And I think the best way I can tell you how good I think this thing is just to show you. So for my final review, before I show you some details, the stand looks fantastic, but because it is so big, I'm glad they were smart enough to think ahead and let you hang it. The size is impressive. The details are impressive. It just looks the part. The inside is impressive. It just feels good once it's done. It took me a little longer to put it all together than I thought, but it's something that any adult can do. And I'm sure some clever children, but I would say it's an adult thing to put together. It's not Lego. You don't need practice with building sets. It's not a building set. It's a toy that just requires some assembly. But just be prepared for that. You know, set aside a couple hours at least. But it's worth it. It looks fantastic. It, to me, looks like it came out of the show. You know, the fact that in the original 1960s show, they were using a model to begin with. Probably not one this big, honestly. I'm not sure. And since they were using a model to begin with, it really just sells this one as being almost like a prop from the show. Now, I'm sure people who are just absolutely obsessive about the details of the Enterprise will notice some things are not the same. For a toy and for a display piece, to me, it nails it. It nails it. I love the fact that it's Playmobil, so everything does feel well made and sturdy, yet it looks good enough to be a display piece. So it's not fragile like, you know, like a true model would be. It's sturdier than that. But it also doesn't look like a Playmobil toy. It looks like a Star Wars display, which is what it is. So, yes, I recommend it. If you're a Star Trek fanatic, if you're a fanatic of the Enterprise design, yes, I recommend it. You know, manage your expectations. Yes, it's expensive, but you're still going to be putting stickers on. There's still going to be minor imperfections. It's still a toy at the end of the day. So just set expectations realistically. Because if this were actually like a full-on replica model that were 39.4 inches long, it would be $350. It would be $3,050, you know. So do set expectations accordingly. This is a premium toy, but it's still a toy ultimately. But I think a fantastic looking one. I can't imagine anyone who takes the time to put this together and loves the Enterprise being disappointed. The final thing I'll say before I show it off is the sounds and light features are on point. And you have two choices there. You can plug it in with USB, which to me is not that convenient because that means you're going to have it sitting close to an outlet. But if you've got a big enough space to hold this thing, you can plug this side into an outlet. If you're near an outlet and you've got a big place to set it near an outlet, you can turn this side towards the outlet and have this side be the side showing. And you could leave it plugged in. But it takes 3 AA batteries, which to me isn't a big deal. So it's got 3 AA batteries in the engineering bay, which I'll show you. And the actual controls are in here and in the engineering bay, which I'll show you. Or you can download the app, which I'm not a big fan of, like with Lego or any of these toys, because apps eventually go down. They stop supporting them. But I will say for now, the app is working great. And it is really cool. I don't have to turn this thing on. It's totally off right now. But if I turn my app on, I could do all the things from my phone. And you can actually do things from your phone that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to show you because we're a low-tech production here at the Cardboard Cave. And I'm recording on my phone. So honestly, I can't show you the app. That's something you have to check out yourself. It's free. You can download it now, even without buying the product. But it won't really do anything unless you're within how many ever feet of this product. But you can do like individual voice lines that will play like randomly if you just turn it on. But you can play them at will from the app. You can fire torpedoes from the app, which you can do here with a button. You can just do things with the app sort of on command, whereas it's a little more, it just goes through its thing when you turn it on. So I love the fact that you don't have to have the app. You can still do things with buttons, physical buttons that are hardwired in with those phone cables, or phone type cables. And it only takes 3 AA batteries, or you can plug it in. You have to provide your own USB cable. It's got a little outlet here actually for that, and it's I guess that's a USB-C. Yeah, that's what that is. It's a USB-C cable, just FYI if you care. But anyways, let's show you the ship. And actually, why don't we just go ahead and quit messing around and turn it on. I'm going to show you engineering bay first so I can put this panel back on. Montgomery Scott. You got a light up panel behind him. The lithium crystal. Unfortunately, the Enterprise itself was making a shadow here. I don't think you can really see it too well on the phone, but there are 3 stickers in this set that are like thick plastic stickers and actually have a 3D effect to them. This is one of them, the staircase back here. It's a pretty cool look. I don't know if it shows up too well on camera. The only place in this whole set you can see any wires is if you look back here. There's wires. Otherwise, everything gets covered up. The batteries. There's one screw here, which I guess you could leave out if you wanted to. There's one screw there, then you just pop off the panel there. There's 3 AA batteries in there. The on and off button right here. That's the on and off button. I love the fact that it's an engineering bay, the on and off button. But check out what happens if you move the dilithium crystal. Dilithium, don't at me. The ship shuts down. We'll put it back in. I think that's pretty cool. The nacelles are just amazing. I love those so much. I can give you a full 360. And then I'll show you inside. So again, things like these are printed, things like this is stickers. These are stickers, but again, it has an engraved area to go in, so it's not too hard to put on. But things like this are print. That's all print. And then like that's a sticker. This was the most surprising sticker. It's just very large, but it's okay. Again, it's actually pretty easy to put on. Again, the thing looks good from every angle. I mean, it looks proper, I believe, from every angle. When you're on battery power, the thing will automatically shut off after 3 minutes. If you have it plugged in, it takes 2 hours. It'll run for 2 hours unless you turn it off. If you have the phone app, you can turn it on and off whenever you want to from your phone. If you don't, you just gotta press that little button in Engineering Bay to turn it back on. Yeah. I showed you Engineering Bay. That is one interior. The other one, though, it's time to show you now, I do believe. I think it's actually doable with one hand, but I'd rather have two. There we go. Oh, it just turned off. I'll turn it back on. Again, according to people who seem to know about these things, this is the first Star Trek Enterprise toy that is actually big enough to include both a full ship and a full bridge interior. They are Playmobil figures, so you'll love or hate that. I'm sure there's some small Star Wars action figures that would fit in here. Playmobil is nostalgic for me. I never really had Playmobil growing up. You know, Lego, we were lucky to get some Lego. But they're still nostalgic. They're still iconic. So I certainly do not mind. So what do you have? 7 figures altogether? Because I have, you know, Scotty's down here. Let's go and turn it back on.
This is Captain James Kirk of USS Enterprise.
So, going through the cast, we have Spock, who's tricorder and communicator. We got Uhura. We got Chekhov, Sulu. Dr. McCoy is actually up here. I don't know if... Oh, he's falling out of his chair. I know he wouldn't normally hang out up here probably for too long, but there he is. And of course, you got Captain Kirk. I do have... They are combat ready currently. But there is a nice place to store weapons and things in here. It actually comes with an extra crystal. And there's a total of 3 phasers, so I just have one stored in there. But if you don't want them, you know, ready to shoot the ship apart on the bridge, you could put the extra phasers in there. But you got 3 phasers. You got, I think it's at least 3 communicators. Yeah, because Scotty has one. And you got 6 tribbles. I'm sure you saw them, but let me just show you a couple here. Of course, you can do with them what you want to, but I just displayed them around the bridge. I think these are cool little things. They're just hard plastic. So I have them spread out around. Here's one of those 3D stickers I told you about. You see? The elevator is closed or open, depending on your angle. So I think that's cool. Those 2 hard screws that are hard to get to, I'm not going to lift this off, but they're under here. This lifts off, but the screws are down below there, and you just got to go to a weird angle. Not a big deal, but... So the stickers, probably 70% of the stickers in the whole set is everything you see back there on both sides. It's a lot. But there's indentions. There are indentions. You can see them. And so to really screw it up bad, you just have to not be paying attention. Because there's indented spaces to put all those stickers. Honestly, the only stickers in the whole set that don't have like an indented space, I believe, are these 2. That and that. You kind of got to freehand those for whatever reason. Otherwise, you got an indented space that really makes putting the stickers on a cinch. Well, a cinch if you're paying attention. But there are a lot of them. All these chairs, Captain Kirk's chair actually connects down there and can swivel. All the other chairs are just assembled. They're just 2 pieces and a sticker. They're just assembled and put in there wherever you want them. Almost like a dollhouse. So, you know, if you fly this thing around, you or a child flies this thing around, you are going to, the characters are just going to go everywhere. Just know that. Really, the figures need to go in there once you're ready to display it. Because they're just going to go everywhere. But it's fine. They'll be in here. They'll just be a big soup. And you can rearrange them however you want to. They can all sit. Of course, they look a little funny because their knees don't bend. But they can sit. Except for poor Uhura. She can as well. But she has a 2-piece skirt piece. You actually have to take that off to bend her legs. So the one character whose job is sort of... Well, in the show, you know, you often saw her sitting and communicating with the captain. She's actually the one who can't really sit. Unless you take her skirt off. But it's honestly, it looks okay with it off. So you could do that. And I think the last thing I want to show you is just everything turning back on one more time. And then I'm going to show you with the lights off. Oh, the functions, duh. So with the phone, you have a lot more options about how to do it. But basically, you got blue as warp, red is alarm, and black is torpedo. We're going to do the alarm. Got a light sliding up red there. And then I think I'm going to turn the lights off before I show you the warp drive, because this is my favorite. All right, here's warp. I'm going to show you that once more with the lights on. I just think it's a cool effect. There you go. All right. Oh, I almost forgot. The viewer at the front. I almost missed it. So again, this is another one of those cool 3D stickers. The Klingon ship looks far away, then gets closer depending how you're looking at it. And I do apologize, I'm getting my own shadow here. You'll just have to trust me, it's a cool effect in person. But also, again, I can't really show you this. You could put a cell phone right here. Like, you know, pretty much any kind of standard size cell phone. Not an absolutely massive one. But there's actually a spot here. And you can have a viewer screen for the Enterprise crew. You know, they can be... they can be watching whatever you have on the screen. Anyways, I think that's where I'll end it. Of course, we can put this back on. And even with one hand, it's not too bad. It just snaps right back on. Like that. And that is the Playmobil Star Trek USS Enterprise.